Yeah, what's good? It's J Dub, man. Once again, you know what I'm saying? We back and we talking about the free agency that just happened these last couple of days. Has been pretty interesting with some of the deals that's been going on lately. And, of course, I got to start with my Spurs, you know, making moves. Like I said, there's no need to panic. It was like, we was worried about where we was going in the draft, but I'm starting to see what we doing. We're trying to make some moves here. And I think that getting Chris Paul was a big move. As far as just bringing in a vet like that, a Hall of Fame vet that can get pretty much galvanize the team and have pretty much bring some organization to the young guys, some on court organization. We got a leader in Popovich as a coach, but just having that on court leadership, added on to the team is going to be a big deal for, particularly Victor Wembanyama, as far as making sure he's getting the ball in the right places and teaching the team how to get him the ball in the right places, as well as being there for Stephon Castle and giving him that same guidance and actually translating that into his game. So it's going to be a big deal just having Chris Paul on the team, and people going to underrate that. But I think that was a big move for the Spurs, and now I'm starting to get excited as far as just where we going, because when Chris Paul was at OKC for that 1 year after he went from Houston to there, and they kind of shipped him over there, it was a big deal for Shea Alexander in his development, because now he had Chris Paul kind of in his corner to kind of help him kind of pretty much mold his game a little bit to where it's at right now as far as him being a superstar player. So I think that's going to have the same effect on his team. So I'm pretty excited about him. I'm also excited to hear that we're in the mix for Lauri Markkinen. I heard that was something that we were kind of mixed into as far as a trade package, something like that. I don't know what we're going to give. It's probably going to revolve around some picks. Hopefully not the next year's picks, but we got plenty of picks for future draft to kind of pretty much facilitate that deal. So hopefully something comes out of that. If not, then hey, so I'm pretty excited about what the Spurs are doing. So looking forward to it. But we're not just gonna stop there. We're gonna talk about some of the other moves that other teams have made, and particularly the move that Paul George made going to Philadelphia. Pretty much, Clippers let him walk to Philadelphia. Because they couldn't pay him the money. They're under this. They didn't want to get into that second apron and lose and incur all those penalties, because it's not about money. Clippers have always shown that they are able to pay whatever and pay the luxury tax and do whatever. But now that things have changed, and they I don't know why they agreed to that CBA deal, to where it hard capped pretty much the teams, to where now that there's all these penalties for teams that have the money to spend. It just kind of hurts the super team era. Unless you're a championship team and you're willing to pay those taxes and have those penalties, because you're a super team and you got what you need to be a champion. So it's just kind of crazy, to see some of the teams, as far as Clippers being hit by that penalty. You're going to see more teams like that, to where those penalties are going to be too much for them to deal with, and they're going to have to let some players walk, or they had to do some things and make some trades to kind of facilitate some of those deals that they're not able to pretty much able to manage, moving forward with certain contracts and things like that. So it's good for GMs, I think, as far as just them having to be more strategic with the contracts they negotiating what they agree to, and the players as well. They can't put themselves in a position that, like, for example, Zach LaVine, where now he's like essentially untradeable. He really doesn't want to be a Chicago Bull anymore, but they can't do nothing when they can't trade him because his deal. Nobody wants to pick up that deal. Plus, he's hurt. He has an injury history. He's probably healthy right now, but he has an injury history. So a lot of teams don't want to invest in him. So that's why you're seeing a lot of teams kind of deny any trade packages that involve him. Like the Warriors, for example. The Bulls trying to give them picks, with Zach LaVine, and take him off the books. But the Warriors like, nah, we won't even do that. So we'll just waive Chris Paul and then let him go wherever he wants to go, and then we'll pivot to something else over, bringing in Zach LaVine's deal. We don't want to do that. So it just kind of like, it just kind of messes up things for certain teams. And, the Clippers kind of were the casualty of that. Now they're in a situation where, they're essentially that the deal that they made in 2019-2020 season where they got Kawhi and PG, and they lost like 5 draft picks, unprotected picks, and then got a couple pick swaps, and a superstar, making Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now he's pretty much a superstar, and they pretty much gave that up in a deal as well. And now they're looking like you guys didn't get nothing out of that, and there's no championship, no NBA Finals at the very least. But I mean, they got to the Western Conference Finals. That's kind of a big deal because that was their first one. So that's essentially a big deal. You got a lot of teams that just get that far and then they don't get nowhere else. So you gotta take that into account. But now the NBA is. The NBA is like, how far have you gone lately? That's really the kind of the theme to a lot of these teams. They don't like. It's not enough to get to have success until you get to the NBA Finals. That's the only kind of measure of, okay, your team is in the right trajectory as a championship contender. Only 2 teams get to the championship, to the finals. So it's like, it's an exclusive deal. A lot of people kind of take that for granted as far as whenever they're evaluating how successful a team is. They made the playoff. They're always in the mix of the playoffs, except for like that one year where Kawhi didn't play all year because he had a torn ACL. So, it just, that was, other than that, they made the playoffs every year. Maybe they got out the first round. It happens. They had a bad matchup. They had injuries. They couldn't get past the first round. Injuries play a big part in it. As far as just success. And that's what any sport, with any type of thing, injuries are going to play a part of it. But the problem is that the injuries happen too often. The injuries with Kawhi happen way too often. For them to where it stunts their success, and then that could have played a part in why Paul George's like, what, maybe my best chance to win a championship is to go east. Rather than take a pay cut and not get that extra year that I want. I'd rather just go east and have a better chance to win a championship and get my money at the same time. It's worth it to me to do that. Worst case scenario, if I don't like it there, I could request a trade. But again, this is a new NBA, new CBA, and that's a max contract. Those are gonna that deal is gonna be harder to move if he wants to be traded sooner rather than later, or like the second year of the deal or something crazy like that, which I doubt. I think he's gonna pretty much try to play that deal out as far as he can. But in case he does, it's gonna be a struggle. So we'll see. It's interesting how that all played out now. Pretty much is now it's James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, on the team, and then they made some moves, to kind of help facilitate kind of the team around them. And I actually like those moves that they made as far as just getting Nick Batum back, getting Derrick Jones Jr. from Dallas. They got Chris Dunn, Mo Bamba, and then they just they brought some pieces. They brought some scrappy pieces around them, around Kawhi and PG, and James Harden. And also, as well as, now they still have Norman Powell, they still have Ivica Zubac, they still have Terrence Mann. They're most likely they're going to try to start moving Russ and PJ Tucker, and hopefully not Norm, because Norm's a scorer. But you're going to see probably Bones Highland, guys like that, possibly on the move, in the next couple of days when they find like a suitor for them, because you're already hearing rumors about Denver wanting Russ and stuff like that. So you're gonna see some pieces move around to open up some more space to bring some other guys in, from another deals, and see. But right now they're a first stage from team now, and that's kind of was more important for them to not be a second team. On the flip side, just going back to the 76ers, now they got a big three. They got Joel Embiid, they got Tyrese Maxey, they got Paul George, and they got guys around them. They let Tobias Harris go to Detroit, you know, so he can get his money. I don't know how he be making so much money just being a regular player. Basically, he's said just the most well paid role player I've ever seen. But it is what it is. But he moved on, and now they got their little big three, and it's all revolves around Joel Embiid's health. You know, if he's not healthy, then they're not going to go anywhere. It's kind of with the Clippers. If Kawhi's not healthy, Clippers are not going anywhere. So both of those guys got to be healthy. Come playoff time, that's the key. They got to be ready when it matters. Those things start adding up. Especially when you haven't gone past the second round like Joel Embiid. He doesn't get enough. He doesn't get as much criticism as like a guy like Kawhi Leonard, who's proven, who's a champion. He gets way more scrutiny than Joel Embiid, who hasn't pretty much had a stellar playoff performance his whole career, but he's won the MVP in a season. So it's like when are we gonna hold him more accountable for their team's success? I don't see enough of it. For a guy that's won the MVP, he doesn't get held accountable on the level that a lot of guys get. They just say, "Oh, he's just a great player," blah blah blah. I'm like, well, what has he done in the playoffs? As great as he is, I haven't seen it yet. So this is a matter of we'll see, how he performs throughout the season and also in the playoffs, and how well he works with Paul George. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not going to be. Now they got enough talent to where he doesn't need to average 35 points or 30 points, something crazy like that. He can average 28 and 12, and conserve himself throughout the season, and then save pretty much his energy for the postseason, and not try to be the MVP. He already got it, so now it's just time to win a championship. So curious to see how the 76ers kind of balance that out and compete with the New York Knicks, who got Mikal Bridges, early in the process to pretty much complete the Villanova Knicks, the Villanova Wildcats. So, and that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool to have all them guys playing together again like they did in college, and then now they added OG back from and paid him, and then they lost Isaiah Hartenstein to OKC, who's looking pretty good right now. They got Hartenstein, now they got go along with Chet Holmgren, and they still got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Isaiah Joe, pretty much J-Dub, Jalen Williams, and they're stacked. They're young and stacked, and they also got Alex Caruso. Let him go for trade. So pretty much swapped Josh Giddey for him, and then now they're pretty much loaded and ready to go for next year. So they're gonna be a top 4 team in the league. Along with Minnesota and Minnesota, OKC, and Denver, depending on how they look, because they lost Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to the Orlando Magic, so that's going to be a blow for them because they don't got their point of attack defender. They still got Aaron Gordon, who is also somewhat of a point of attack defender, but he guards like the bigger forwards, the small forwards, and the 3s and the 4s. Those guys, maybe the 2s every now and then, but that was Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was the guy that usually handled all the 2 guards and the shiftier guys. So now they're not going to have that anymore. So now they got to retool, see who they can bring in. That's why they were talking about bringing in Russ maybe to be that guy probably. So we'll see how they work that out with the Clippers. They're always trying to, because they're always trying to make moves with the Clippers on a sneak for some reason. They always think they can take something from them to make. Cause ever since they took Reggie Jackson, they think they can take a piece from them to make themselves a better team. What else? We still got LeBron out there. He's a foregone conclusion that he's gonna be a Laker. He's just waiting to see what other guys are out there. There's really nothing left out there. I think the last piece that he really wanted is went to Dallas. Klay Thompson. He was at Golden State, and they didn't want him. They didn't want him back basically after he went 0 for 10 in the playoffs, and I think that was pretty much the nail in the coffin. I think if they would have got out of the play-in and went into the playoffs, he would have been good. But then I think that kind of left a bad impression on the rest of his career with Golden State. Even though he's still a good player, Clay has still got it. The shooter's never going to lose their touch. But he's not the defender he used to be. He's not as consistent as he used to be. The injuries are kind of hampering him down a little bit. But at the end of the day, him being on the Dallas Mavericks with Luka and Kyrie being more of a hopefully more of a catch and shoot guy, and off the screen guy, and pull ups and stuff like that, and then just kind of pretty much is just defending, the way he can. He's not the same defender, but he still can, still can move his feet. He still can stay in front of guys and be a decent defender. So I think that's a good move for Dallas, adding him to the equation, and for as a shooter, because Luka's good at finding shooters in the corner, and he's an improvement on the Derrick Jones Juniors and Tim Hardaway Juniors, So I think that's going to be a good move for them. It's just a matter of just when they play a team that has a lot of good wings, who's going to guard who's going to guard the best wing. That's going to be the dilemma, is the wings, how they defend the other team. So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to seeing the Dallas Mavericks and how they bounce back after losing in the NBA Finals. What else? I think Obi Toppin, he stayed with the Pacers. That was a good deal. He's solid there. He got his money. He finally found himself a home. New York let him go. And then he went to the Pacers, and then he became a part of that team, and I'm happy for him. So it's a big deal for him. That's really it. I think that's there's a lot of moves going on. Besides that, there's other smaller moves and stuff like that, like Andre Drummond going to back to the Sixers. Kevin Love staying with the Miami Heat. Doing that, and I already just talked about the Hartenstein move. That was pretty decent, and then just pretty much good moves. You got Valanciunas went to the Wizards. Made some money, so that kind of takes some size away from New Orleans, and then Larry Nance also went to Atlanta for DeJounte Murray. He went to New Orleans. That was actually kind of a big deal because that lets you know that Atlanta is kind of in rebuild mode, and they're not. And then I don't know what they're going to do with Trae Young, but I know that trading DeJounte puts them in rebuild mode, even though their picks are all coming to us, San Antonio. So, y'all should want to compete a little bit for those picks. So I don't know. I appreciate it. We appreciate y'all. Giving us those picks. We're gonna gotta give us the farm if you want them back. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We got a whole bunch of other different moves to go. We'll see how. As far as Spurs, we'll see what else we can get. In the rest of the free agency, because it's pretty much ongoing until for the whole summer. So these are all just the main dominoes kind of already fell. So just looking at pretty much how much more these teams are going to build and get ready for summer league and training camp and things like that. So it's going to be an interesting situation with how all these teams kind of build to put the finishing touches on their teams to get ready for next season. All right, but anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna let y'all go. I hope you guys have a good night. I'm gonna stay on it with the videos. Like I said, the Olympics is coming up. I'm gonna do some Olympic videos. I'm gonna do some other different videos outside of sports. As far as I don't even know if I want to do anything about politics, man, because it's just crazy. But I might do one, because I might just put some opinions out there on politics. I'm working on a new music project. I'm gonna start putting some of that out. And I'm also gonna start using some music on my videos. And just not have them be just me talking. And have a little music in the background and kind of do it right. And then and then put y'all on just kind of the next project I'm currently working on. I'm just trying to just put it all together and kind of figure out what direction I'm going, and then I'm gonna start putting some work in and should probably do some live work, and then also, of course, we gotta talk about the New York Giants coming up, in training camp. I'm looking forward to that. When have you ever met a Spurs fan and a Giants fan at the same time? It's not not a common combination, I should say, but that's me. Those are teams I like. And I just, all bias aside and hometown bias aside, those are the two teams. San Antonio Spurs, team I picked, to be a fan of, along with the Sonics. I was from Seattle, so that is a home team. I do like the Mariners, and in baseball. So I got some Seattle ties, but ultimately, right now I'm a Spurs fan, and I like the New York Giants. Those are just my two squads, in particular. So I'm gonna do a lot of videos on those two particular teams. So be on the lookout for that. So anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go, man. You guys have a good night, man. I hope y'all stay on top of these videos, man. Just subscribe to me if you like what you see, and then you want to stay on top of me, just click the bell for the alerts. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. Peace out.